Hi, I'm Katie Hacker, your host for Beads, Baubles and Jewels. Today's theme is Shape It. Use these techniques to form shapes that give structure and interest to your jewelry projects. And you can make shapes freehand using wire and crystals, and I'm going to show you how. So take a look at these earrings. What you'll do is create this diamond-shaped drop. And you can also use this for a pendant, but in this case we're going to create this little earring. And you're using 6mm bicones and 26 gauge wire. You can also use 24 gauge depending on the size holes in your beads. I like to use bicones because they lock together to create a really nice pattern, but you could also use rounds or rondelles to get some interesting looks. And that's a way that you can bring different shapes of beads into your jewelry too. So you start out by threading 3 beads onto the wire, but the wire is going to pass through the opposite side of the last 2. And that's going to make a row on top of that first bead, and I'll show you what it looks like. It's kind of like stitching, but you're doing it with wire and it doesn't require a needle. And it also means that when you're done, the shape has a lot of body of its own that will cause it to hold the shape together. So there you have 3 stacked, right? This one is the first one, and then the 2 that we pass through the opposite ends. So then you'll do this again with 3 beads. I'm just going to move this one aside. This one has 3 beads across. I did the same thing, 2 beads across, and then you can do 1 at the top to complete the diamond pattern and create that diamond shape. And I like the bicones for this too because they kind of mimic the diamond shape that you're even creating. So you might need to grab a pair of pliers to work this down. You use your chain nose or flat nose to pull it into position there. And see, it will just lay really nicely on top. Now what you do is bring your wire ends up to the point of the bicone, and then use your chain nose pliers to make a 90-degree angle on the long wire, whichever one is the longest. Then you'll take the short wire and coil it very tightly around the long wire. And then you're just going to trim away that extra. Now what you can do here to cover that little coil is place either a crystal rondelle like this one that has crystals already set in, or you could use a plain metal spacer, or you could do both. So we'll just slide those into place over the top and then add a pearl. And I like to use a small hole bead here at the top to hold everything together. And you can see the wire is still a little bit malleable. You can bend it into position. Now we're going to make a wrapped loop again to connect it to the ear wire. So this is round nose pliers, making my loop. Save yourself a little time and slide it on to the ear wire. If you forget to do that step, of course, you can open the loop on the ear wire, then coil this around. Then you just trim away this extra wire and you have your earring just like that. It's a simple way to create your own diamond shape. Now take a look at what I did with the diamond pendants here. I used the same size 6mm bicones here, and I added a larger metal bead, and then I have a pearl, and I attached it to the end of 2 chains that are combining those metallic colors. Now this earring here is larger, and it uses more rows, but it's the same pattern. And then in the blue earrings, that uses rondelles, and that's creating a petal shape. So you can really think about that creating a leaf or a diamond. You can do anything.